This is the most requested FNAF video I have been recommended to watch. Can you beat every FNAF game at the same time? This includes FNAF 1, 2, 3, 4, Pizza Sim, Sister Location, Ultimate Custom Night, and not FNAF World. Unless maybe it does. Does this include FNAF World? If so, that seems very weird, but I'm down. So anyway, with that being said, let's give it a watch. Let's see how it goes. I've been looking forward to watching this forever, so let's do it.
Have you ever been working a minimum wage job and are just disappointed with the amount of time that you put in for
Chat, oh my god, dude. He knows how to be so relatable. Press 1 if that's relatable.
so little in return? Well, what if in that one 6-hour shift, you could work 2 jobs, maybe even 3, 4, 5? Here on the Bones 5.
No, wait. Do you guys know about like, oh my god, what is it called? There'll be people, they'll get like online like call center type jobs, and they'll work multiple full-time jobs at the same time. And eventually they get found out, and then they get like blacklisted and stuff like that and fired, obviously. But there are people that will like do this grind of working multiple jobs for like a few years straight, and even if they obviously don't pay that well, you will actually be able to generate quite an immense amount of income. And it's like not a bad like side quests to go on for a few years. So yeah, I mean, I would never do it, but if you've never thought about it, because I never did until I saw a video get recommended to me, I was like, damn, dude, that's kind of cool.
YouTube channel on YouTube, we value efficiency, doing as much as we can in as little time as possible. And today, we've set up—
Why is that illegal? I don't think it's technically illegal, but like obviously when the company finds out, they're gonna be pissed off because you know how companies are. In fact, there's this one guy, he fucks around with companies all the time like this. It was so funny, dude. He was working 2 jobs at once, but they were not online, they were in real life. So he went to the first company, and they had like orientation, and they were like doing orientation, and he was like, oh god, I have a tummy ache, I gotta go to the bathroom. And instead of going to the bathroom, he drives over to his other job and starts working at his other job, starting orientation, and then he goes, oh my gosh, I got a tummy ache, I gotta go to the bathroom. And then he drives over back to number 1 job, and then starts working his job for a little bit, and then he's like, oh shit, wait, I just gotta step out and take a call real quick. And then he drives back to his other job. Oh my god, dude, it's such a good video.
to do just that.
He got fired within like 1 hour. You obviously cannot keep that up.
In all 7 of the mainline finance.
they were like, the manager needs to talk to you, and he's like, where have you been? And he's like, I was working my other job. And he's like, what do you mean your other job? And he's like, well, I have to, anyway, whatever. I'm not gonna tell you the whole video. We are 20 seconds in. The watch time is destroyed. The amount of people that have clicked off already is insane. But if you've stayed, you're a real one. Let's keep rolling.
Freddy's games. This series has evolved a lot over time, and with the second FNAF movie having just released, I thought that now was as good of a time as ever to attempt a challenge that I've been wanting to do for a very long time. Seeing if you can beat all 7 mainline FNAF games at the exact same time. That's right, we'll start up a night in every single FNAF game, and if we die in any of them, we have to reset all of them back to the start of the night, meaning that we'll be combating a total of 97 animatronics all at the same time.
Holy shit. How can you do this? Genuinely, how can you do this? Just even imagining Ultimate Custom Night is already overwhelming for me. So the fact that you have to... This seems like a challenge that you would genuinely fail. It doesn't seem possible to me at the current moment. But also I know who the Bones is, and I guess he's gonna find a way, but like, dude, literally how? In my mind, I'm like, okay, night 1, that's fine. Night 2, it's honestly kind of fine. Usually most night 2s are fairly similar to night 1. Night 3 is definitely usually a pretty big difficulty boost in most games, but if you're good, should be okay. Night 4, already I'm thinking like, near impossible. Night 5? I just can't even imagine.
This challenge has been one of the most mentally straining challenges that I've ever done, and if you stick around, I guarantee you'll learn something new about at least one of these games. With that said, let's get into the official rules for this challenge. When starting a night, we'll have to start the night in all 7 games roughly around the same time. Specifically, we aren't allowed to interact with anything in the games until you click continue on the main menus for all of them. Not all FNAF games have the same length, so even if we win 6 of the
What the
7
fuck?
games and fail on the last one, we're forced to reset all of them back to the start of the night. Along with having different lengths, not all FNAF games have the same number of nights, with Ultimate Custom Night not even having any main nights. So I decided that for this challenge, we'll play through the main 5 nights on each FNAF
don't say
game,
6,
and for
7.
Ultimate Custom Night,
You're
match
so
the number of
brain-rotted.
animatronics with the night number. Since the highest night number in any of the games is 8, we'll scale it out accordingly. So 50-20 on 8, 45-20 on 7, and so on, until we get these numbers for the main nights.
Wow. 20-20, 25-20, 30-20, 35-20, 40-20 on night 5? Dude, how is night 5 going to be possible? How the hell is it going to be possible?
Wanted to include Ultimate Custom Night somehow in this video, and I thought that this would be the best way to do it. Now for some game-specific rules. In FNAF 6, we have to salvage every single animatronic. We also aren't allowed to use any outside tools to make games AFKable, like lowering FPS counts to mess with animatronic timers. Nor
One
are we
FPS
allowed
would
to
be so
enter
easy.
mini-games in FNAF 3 to stall out that game. Once we press continue in all of the games, we have to find some way to survive within the confines of that night. With the rules out of the way, let's get into night 1. The first problem that I ran into on this challenge didn't even come from any of the difficulty in the games themselves, it came from how they're programmed. I've made 2 similar videos to this one in the past, and a question that I often get is how do you run the FNAF games in windowed mode such that you can play multiple at the same time? FNAF games are made to go straight to full screen when you open them, which
Wait, this is actually huge because, like, yeah, if you don't play FNAF games, capturing them and turning them into windowed mode and moving the windows around and, like, being able to click out of the window without pausing the game, it's all terrible. So I actually am really curious about this.
sometimes is very annoying to say the least. So you have to decompile all of them, then rebuild them and click Team Fusion 2.5, the
Okay,
game
well, I'm not
engine
doing
that
that.
FNAF games use, with a few tweaks to the settings to make them start in windowed mode. This was going fine until we got to the 5th game in the series, FNAF Sister Location. Sister Location is a very unique game in the franchise, but there's one aspect of it that for the life of me I really just cannot understand. You see, in every other FNAF game, you just move and click around with your normal mouse, but in Sister Location, the game instead has this custom built-in cursor that follows your real cursor around. If you've ever been playing Sister Location and say you get spam called on Discord or something and you try to tab out of the game, you'll see what I mean. It's really hard and very annoying.
Exiting narrator.
What the f?
For us though, this means that we can't have Sister Location open with any other game, as once we start a night in its window, we aren't able to leave it. The first way that I attempted to solve this problem was asking one of my friends if it was possible to just recode the game to remove the custom cursor. Unfortunately, every single clickable object in this game is tied to this custom cursor. And with Sister Location being far and away the largest FNAF game in terms of raw code, this would not be an easy task.
One of the best as well. You know, I've never really done... Dude, I haven't done a FNAF game tier list, which seems crazy. I've talked about the difficulty of each of them quite a bit, but I've never talked about just personal enjoyment for all of them yet. I should really do that. I really like Sister Location a lot, though. It feels like a very involved and invested story, and the voice acting is amazing.
Shout out to FlareX for trying to make this work, but ultimately there were too many issues to make this worthwhile. The scrolling in the game seemed to be super fast and janky, and in the nights where it mattered most, the scrolling could sometimes break or we'd get some weird double cursor issues. I didn't want to waste any more of FlareX's time with this insanely janky game, so I had to...
Doing this Springlock night while managing other games? Dude. Legit, how is that possible? I don't understand.
think of something else. If Sister Location was going to lock our entire computer to this one window, then I guess I was just going to have to get a second computer. So I busted out my college laptop and put it on a stool next to my setup. That way I could have all 7 FNAF games running at the same time on 2 different computers. I used a second camera that would normally be my hand cam to try and capture this in action. That way on the proof video on the second channel, I would have the entire footage uncut of me going between both computers. With that first problem solved, we could actually move on to night 1. There isn't much to worry about on night 1, as 2 of the games don't even have any animatronics yet, and for the games that do, they are very, very slow. I just took the time in this.
This genuinely seems like the hardest challenge video ever. I mean, like, maybe some of, like, his, you know, like, the custom fan games are harder, because, like, again, who the hell knows what's in a fan game? But, like, it's just so overwhelming to even... I just can't even imagine it. I'm so curious to see how the rest of this video is going to go because of that.
Night to get used to traversing between all of the windows reasonably quickly. As long as I was able to visit every game every so often, night 1 went down without any problem.
I will say, I'm sure most of you guys have seen at least one streamer that multitasks like 30 gacha games to make sure he's doing his dailies in every single gacha game. I pray to God the person you know is not yourself, because if that is you, I'm just gonna say this: you're not living your best life. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say.
Though with every game now having an active threat, night 2 was likely going to be much, much worse. Night 2 is when I began to realize that this was going to take a lot more strategy than I initially thought. In the 2 other videos,
unless you're selling the accounts, then maybe. But if they're your accounts, bro, oh god, you're fucking cooked. But recoverable. You can get uncooked, you know? I mean, not really, but like, maybe we can cook you up in a little bit of a different way or something. Put a little sauce on you. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
That I have made on beating multiple FNAF games at once, there was a section in both of them dedicated to choosing which FNAF games are the best to play in the challenge. Game selection is really important for these challenges, as we want to be playing the games that give us the most time where we're forced to go AFK or wait for something to happen so that we have time to visit other games and take care of things there. When selecting games, there were specific mechanics that we really wanted to avoid at all costs. The first of which was anything that was based on sound cues, as the audio for each game would only play when we were clicked into that game's window. So if we had to listen for something in one game, but we were busy doing something in another, we totally miss out on that sound cue. Thankfully, there was a way to fix this in Click Team. By selecting the Do Not Mute Samples When Application Loses Focus option, the game's audio would now play even when we weren't clicked into its window. So while it was now harder to pick out certain sound cues, that problem was somewhat fixed. However, the second problem was much more concerning. Any game that has some kind of music box mechanic, or any mechanic that forces you to keep a key on the keyboard pressed for a long time, absolutely destroys us in this challenge. Even though we can listen to and keep track of animatronics.
I'm still just like not understanding how this is going to work. Even just like night 5 in FNAF 2, yeah, holding the music box and micromanaging that stuff, and then imagining a night 5 on just all of the other nights, I'm just like, it's not happening. It's literally just not happening.
Games that we aren't actively clicked into, there is no way to avoid music box type mechanics. We are forced to commit fully to one.
Even just like doing cycles in FNAF 4 on night 5, it's like you have to be like pretty. I'm not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm just not.
Game's window for however long it takes. For these reasons, there were 2 games that I was avoiding like the plague in the first 2 multi-game challenges: FNAF 2 and FNAF 4.
Okay, there you go. My brain is smart.
Unfortunately, with all 7 games, we don't have a choice for which ones to play, so we're going to have to deal with them. FNAF 2 is a problem because of that music box mechanic that we mentioned earlier, with the puppet requiring you to keep the box wound up for the entire night. FNAF 4 has no explicit music box mechanic, but instead, every mechanic in its own way has music box-like properties. FNAF 4 is the only FNAF game that doesn't have any kind of camera or terminal system that you can use to keep track of or lure animatronics places. You have to physically go to places in your room to deal with threats. When dealing with Bonnie and Chica in the halls, you have to hold a door shut for around 3 seconds. When dealing with Freddy behind you on the bed, you have to flash the flashlight for around 2 seconds. And God forbid if Foxy gets in the closet, you'll have to be closing the closet doors for around 7 seconds.
And like he's gonna get in the closet because you're multitasking other games. This in and of itself, to me, it's like even just splitting your attention between FNAF 4 and FNAF 2 seems near impossible. So introducing everything else on top of it, We got Ultimate Custom Night 2? My brain is just breaking.
Even though all of these mechanics don't require you to hold your mouse anywhere like the box in FNAF 2, the keyboard will only register inputs to the game that were clicked into. So functionally, all of these actions also lock us in FNAF 4, just like the box does in FNAF 2. There are ways to reduce these times that we'll get into later, but no matter what, we're going to be spending a lot of time in FNAF 4. Those two—
Oh, Arthur, I think Kagi is saying, why is it so quiet? Not the audio of the stream, but the chat. For whatever reason, when I like react to things in general, people, I don't know if people just like lurk or if they just are quietly watching. I don't know, but the chats are just slow in general.
games are definitely the most time consuming out of all of them, but how are we going to be dealing with the rest? Well, we're going to try and find every way possible to spend the least amount of time on them so that we can focus our attention on 2 and 4. Sister Location is definitely the easiest of the bunch.
I love the song.
For now, at least. It'll get worse. As it's the only
Alright,
game
thank
that
you for
doesn't
quietly
spawn you
watching,
directly
guys.
into an office with animatronics coming after you. When you enter each night, you start in the elevator going down into the bunker, but there's nothing stopping us from just sitting in the elevator and waiting until every other game is done, then taking on Sister Location afterwards.
Okay, press 1 if you think that he's gonna beat Night 5. Press 2 if you think he's gonna fail in Night 5 or even like before.
This doesn't mean Sister Location is a complete walk in the park, as if we do end up completing every other game, we still have to beat Sister Location's night without dying, or we have to start all the way at the beginning, and some of these nights are really long,
Pretty
but for
mixed
the moment
bag.
we can just chill in the elevator and take on the other games. FNAF 6 is pretty similar in that there's no fixed nighttime, but gives you multiple options for how you want to play it. You see, the way that attacks work in FNAF 6 is all based around how much sound you're making in your office. Once an animatronic is an event, the game checks how much—
Bro, some of these edits he's putting on top of this video are so strange. I'm just gonna be real. So FNAF 6, you can get pretty lucky in nights. Like, this is a game that strikes me as like you could almost do nothing and just kind of win sometimes. The issue is though, is like you can't really play on top of that RNG though, because again, if any other game fails, then you have to restart all of them. So like, I don't know.
sound you're making. I'll list all the things that can make sound on screen now, but what's important for us is this default noise value. If you have both the terminal and fan completely shut off, the chance of an animatronic hearing you and jump scaring you is only 10%. In previous
Wow.
challenges where I played multiple games at once, I took on FNAF 6 by just trying to brute force the tasks as fast as possible using audio lures. But with how much is going on here, I figured that it might be better to stall the game out like we are with Sister Location. So I did a quick test run of my strategy. By turning on the silent ventilation tool, we'll cool down the office at roughly the same rate that the temperature increases naturally with nothing on. Both the silent ventilation and the natural temperature increase are luck-based, but unless we get insanely unlucky, we won't have to worry about temperature. The silent ventilation also stays on even when the terminal is shut off, being the only tool that can do this.
Oh, that's
so
pretty
it works
good.
perfectly with our strategy.
never even used
I
that
then
tool.
loaded up a save file on the hardest night, Saturday, with all 4 animatronics salvaged. In FNAF 6, the raw movement chance for animatronics is always 1 in 3, but the intervals at which they move get sped up over the course of the game. By Saturday, they're moving every 2 seconds. I figured that if I could survive decently long by stalling out the night on the hardest night, then getting through nights 1 to 5 won't be a problem. The first test I did was seeing how long I would survive if I just picked a random direction to look and stared at it until I died, which on my first attempt came out to 2 full minutes and 30 seconds on the hardest night in the game. What's even crazier about this is that for the majority of this trial, the animatronics were even faster than their base speed. FNAF 6 has another hidden timer called monotony, which is a mechanic to disincentivize exactly what I'm doing here. If you don't
Thank you so much for the 100 bits. Came from a YouTube channel. Love your various FNAF reacts. Glad I caught you live watching Bones today. Happy to have you here. Thanks for coming.
don't turn for 30 seconds, the animatronics movement intervals get cut to 2 seconds. If you don't turn for 45 seconds, they get cut to 1 second. Surviving this long shows that even if we're too busy with other games to not tend to FNAF 6 for minutes at a time, I think we'll be okay. This test was only for the worst case though. Optimally, we'd be turning every 30 seconds to reset this monotony timer and to send animatronics back further. You see, when you aren't making any noise and you shine the flashlight into a vent or the room next to a vent where an animatronic is currently located, they get sent all the way back to the corner of the map. If you aren't shining your flashlight on them and they don't hear you, they only get sent back to these center squares here. By turning roughly every 30 seconds, we can ensure that everyone stays back as far as possible while minimizing monotony and the 1 in 10 chances to die from someone hearing us. I went ahead and tested how long I could survive when turning every 30 seconds, and for every night except Saturday, I made it to 20 minutes and then just stopped voluntarily. Is this strategy 100% perfect? No. If we get overwhelmed in other games or just get really unlucky in FNAF 6, we could die. But the RNG from stalling out in this game and
I'm sorry, but talking about all of this as preface for night 2 is like insane, by the way. This is night 2.
playing it after the other 5 is way more manageable than trying to bomb rush all of our tasks as fast as we can. Especially considering that for 4 of the 5 required nights for this challenge, we don't have to deal with all 4 animatronics in FNAF 6. FNAF 6 and Sister Location we're able to put off until we finish everything else, then take them on individually. But we do not have this luxury for the remaining 5 games. For FNAF 1, 2, 3, 4, and UCN, we have to find some way to manage all of them simultaneously. You probably wouldn't guess it at first, but the easiest to manage out of all of these is actually Ultimate Custom Night. Ultimate Custom Night is a very unbalanced game with
That seemed, I guess, okay, I gotta see what characters he's actually activating, because I'm not super surprised by him saying that, but like, let me see what he's doing here.
Character difficulty, and is extremely exploitable with stalling strategies. So as long as we steer clear of these super difficult characters, we
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. So he can actually pick what characters he wants to put in the game. He just has to hit certain requirements. So again, he said like night 2, like it has to be like 2025 or something like that. He can pick any 2025s. Okay, that's actually not bad then. I understand why this would be pretty manageable.
should be okay. We want to avoid anyone that can cause
I'm happy that he's doing it this way though. It's like you know, it allows for some like pre-game planning, which is quite fun, instead of just like, you know, playing the actual game. Like this allows you to like kind of formulate like a strategy that's kind of outside of the game. I don't know. Whatever. You understand what I'm saying.
additional RNG, and characters that require checking into the game at specific times. Chica, Puppet, Lefty, and Music Man all require us to be aware of the nighttime and tool usage, so we'll avoid them. Toy Freddy, Foxy, Funtime Foxy, Nedbear, and Orville either require a lot of setup at the start of the night to deal with, or add extra RNG into the night, so we'll also avoid them. The
really
last group of characters that we want to avoid are any characters that can spawn without us pulling up the cameras and cause us to lose our run. As long as we can find a roster that meets all of these conditions, then UCN becomes the easiest game to manage out of all of these. When we first enter the night, turn on the power generator, then head into the camera system and place an audio alert on the left side of the ducts, keeping Happy Frog, Mr. Hippo, and Pig Patch locked for the entire night. Now go into the camera system, select camera 2, and boom, you're done. The only thing that you have to do now for the entire night is close the top vent, briefly pull up the cameras when the office gets dark and the ventilation is about to go out, reset it, and go back to stalling. I'm not going to go over how this counters every single animatronic that we put on, as I have a whole video that details UCN's AI. Just know that we won't have to spend that much time on UCN, with the night more so being focused on short bursts of precision rather than long music box type mechanics, which is perfect for us. There were a few additional animatronics that I chose to avoid until I was absolutely forced to put them on, like Nightmare Balloon Boy, Freddy, Golden Freddy, and Helpy. Not because they mess up our strategy or anything, more so just to ensure that we spend as little time as possible in UCN when we have to reset the ventilation. Moving down to FNAF 1, FNAF 1 requires a bit more attention than UCN, but is also sort of luck-based. We can try and play FNAF 1 out normally by checking the lights as frequently as possible and pulling up the cameras to keep Foxy at bay, but from my experience, this wasn't a strategy that was going to last
really
very long, especially
Fluffy,
into the
you.
later nights. No!
I will say that noise I think is the most like GG, like depressing, like despair. Yeah, okay. The most despair sound effect that you can hear in any FNAF game. It is like, oh my god. It's so bad.
Oh my god, you can't be serious. Oh my god, bro. That's actually insane. I can't believe that. The alternative is using a very precise glitch that will allow us to lock FNAF 1 completely, so we can focus on the other games. This glitch is known as the sprite overwrite glitch. I've talked about this glitch many times in the past, and it all has to do with Foxy. It's also a trend that I always use Gmod animations when talking about this specific glitch. And by animations, I mean trying to get my friends to not kill each other in a green screen box for about 30 seconds, so we're gonna go with that. To understand what's going on here, we have to understand how the doors work and how Foxy interacts with them. The doors in FNAF 1 can be in 4 states: open, closing, closed, and opening. The states that matter to us are the transition states, when the door is closing and when it's opening.
Hey, I see.
When Foxy leaves Pirate's Cove, he'll be in the west hallway. If you click the west hallway, he runs to your door and then enters. If you don't look in the hallway, he'll enter anyway after 25 seconds. Once Foxy is at the door, if the door is in a transition state, he will wait for the door to finish either closing or opening, then perform the expected action once the transition is complete. So if the door is closing, he'll wait for it to close, then bonk on it. If the door is opening, he'll wait for it to open, then enter for a jump scare. What we want is the latter, Foxy waiting to enter the office while the door is opening. If we can time it such that we have Foxy waiting for the door to open, then we turn on the lights, Foxy's sprite is overwritten and the game enters a weird state. We aren't able to pull up the cameras or click anything, and since Bonnie, Chica, and Freddy all require us to pull up the cameras in order to jump scare us, we can safely leave FNAF 1 alone for the rest of the night. There are
like that's fine. I'm not mad that he's using a glitch, but like I'm starting to understand how this might be possible. Cause like now we pretty much never even have to do anything in FNAF 1. It's almost like playing 6 FNAF games at once instead of 7. So I mean we'll see what else he does, but I mean pretty understandable.
Sides to this glitch, however. For one, the glitch is very precise, but that isn't really a huge deal. I'm used to hitting very tight clicks from previous challenges. The other and more pressing issue—
it's a really hard glitch. Yeah, well, I mean, he's talking about that right now. Yeah, here's the thing though, when you're a fucking god gamer, it just doesn't matter. I remember the first time I like really realized that is, I don't know if anyone has seen like Super Mario 60, not Super Mario 64. I don't know if anyone's seen like Paper Mario 64 speedruns or glitches, but one of the most common things that you will have to do in that game is I don't know if it's not called like loading storage. Is it loading? Anyway, it's with the loading zones. Basically in Paper Mario, if you jump into a loading zone, as long as you frame perfectly jump from there, so like if you jump into a loading zone and then frame perfectly jump every time your Mario lands, you will never load into a new zone. So basically, if the game's running at 30 frames per second, if you hit a frame perfect 1 out of 30 jump in a loading zone, you will never transition loading zones. Now, also on top of that, you can jump and then like smash your control stick to move forward or like any direction, and then let Mario land, and then again, frame perfect jump, move Mario in the air, he lands, frame perfect jump, move Mario in the air, and as you like jump and move in the air during this frame perfect jumps, you can line Mario up in a way where he glitches through floors and then like loads into different areas of the map where you can like basically get out of bounds and stuff. So anyway, that is like a very common glitch that Mario glitch hunters and speedrunners will have to do literally hundreds of times, and they will never fail it. Or they have like a 99% success rate in doing that. So like, point I'm making is that if a glitch is really hard to do, if it's something that you're doing all the time, and you know you need to do it all the time, it doesn't even matter if it's frame perfect. Like you're gonna hit it all the time once you like study it and like grind it enough.
Is how unpredictable Foxy is on the early nights. I've only really used the Foxy glitch on 420 mode, when I know for a fact that within about 20 seconds of the night starting, Foxy will always be in the hallway ready to jump scare, and I can execute the glitch no problem. But on night 2, Foxy's AI is only at 1 for the first 2 hours of the night, meaning he has a 1 in 20 chance to progress every 5.01 seconds, with him needing to progress 3 times to leave Pirate's Cove. On later nights, when Foxy is on higher AI levels—
Bro, if you're saying sorry because I was like talking about how it's no problem by performing hard glitches, that is not what I was trying to say to you. I was just talking about how like, you know, it's no worries. He's the GOAT. I know Bones can handle this. Did not mean to discourage anyone in chat. I love you.
it's pretty easy to estimate that by a certain point in the night, if we don't pull up the cameras at all, he's more than likely going to be ready to attack. It doesn't always work, but for a vast majority of runs, we can knock FNAF 1 out pretty early, assuming we hit the glitch. But here, it was really tough to estimate when Foxy would be ready to jump scare. Sometimes I would undershoot it and Foxy wouldn't be fully progressed. Other times I'd overshoot it and end up getting jump scared after Foxy had been waiting in the hallway for 25 seconds. Eventually, I kinda gave up on trying to predict when Foxy would be ready to attack, and instead just played normally without pulling up the cameras very often to hopefully force Foxy out. If he happened to leave, then I would attempt the sprite override glitch, so I could focus more on the other games. But if not, I would just try and juggle FNAF 1 with the others. This leaves FNAF 3, 2, and 4. These are the games that we're going to be placing the bulk of our attention in. Indirectly in FNAF 3 and directly with 4 and 2. In FNAF 3, we only really have one objective, tracking and keeping Springtrap away from our office. In normal gameplay, this is usually done by trying to find him on the cameras, but with FNAF 2 and 4 taking up the bulk of our time, and all
we're literally just like pulling up the camera, clicking on like, 9 or 10, doing the hi, and then just like hoping that he comes. I think you can gamble enough on FNAF 3 and gamble enough on FNAF 6, and then again, do the FNAF 1 glitch, to where now you're pretty much only focusing on kind of like FNAF 2 and 4, I guess, because Sister Location and Ultimate Custom Night, we've also kind of like realized it's fairly easy to handle. Okay, I mean, we're kind of breaking this down. Kind of interesting. It's, weird. All of a sudden, things are feeling like kind of doable. Also, hi, Char.
Required to do in other games, that wasn't really an option here. Thankfully, if you're a bit more observant as to how FNAF 3 works, tracking Springtrap gets a lot easier. Audio cues in FNAF 3 give away a lot more about Springtrap's position than you would think. Specifically, this droning danger ambient sound.
I love that noise.
This
FNAF
will
sound
play
effects are
whenever
so good.
Springtrap is in cameras 5, 4, or 3, then gets louder when he's in camera 2. This gave me a rough idea of where Springtrap was at all times, and with how slow he moves on night 2, I was able to develop a rough strategy. If the danger sound isn't playing, it means that Springtrap is in the top half of the map. You may think that this is a good thing, as it's the furthest away from our position, but in reality, it's just as close, if not closer than the bottom half of the map. Cameras 7, 9, and 10 all have vents connected to them that if Springtrap is able to get through, will either instantly get into your office, or get into a part of the building that he can no longer be lured back from. I had to find a way to cover as many of Springtrap's positions as possible, while also leaving enough time for everything else. So I came up with this. If the danger ambience isn't playing, seal the cam 7 vent, then hold the camera monitor on the cam 9 vent. This locks down pretty much every vent except for the one in camera 10. If he did happen to go to the cam 10 vent, tough luck I guess, but I really couldn't find the time with all of the other games to frequently check both vents, as at this point my movement between games was still a bit awkward.
This is crazy. I mean, so far it's just like we're gambling to a degree where it's like we're making it fairly likely to where, if the stars don't even have to align, it's like if you pump in a decent amount of attempts, it'll probably go right enough to where you'll get through the night, and then you just got to play good on the few games that like actually require your attention. It's very interesting. I can't believe the way this is getting broken down. Like wow.
If the danger sound started playing, I would always seal the cam 2 vent. You might think this is a weird choice, as Springtrap is closer to the cam 5 vent here than the cam 2 one, which is true. However, the cam 5 vent is the only vent in the game that Springtrap is still lureable from when he comes out, as he emerges from the vent in front of the glass, so we're able to lure him back to camera 2, and since we have the cam 2 vent sealed, keep him there until we either get unlucky or he decides to wander off somewhere else. It's not a perfect strat, but Springtrap is so chill on night 2 that it really doesn't matter all that much. With the strategies for each game set, now I just had to put it all together. Immediately, I began to discover some optimizations that you can do with FNAF 2 and FNAF 4. To make them a bit more bearable. Whenever you run to a door in FNAF 4, the running animation is around 2 to 3 seconds, and it felt kind of inefficient to not use this time on something else.
That's
so
crazy.
Every time that I ran to a door, I would wind the box for as long as it took for the animation to complete, which, as long as nothing was wrong in the other games, kept the box pretty full. Even with this optimization, I still found myself pouring way too much time into FNAF 4 and FNAF 2, leading to either door jams in FNAF 1, Springtrap getting through in FNAF 3, or just straight up not paying attention to UCN and letting the ventilation run out.
This is night 2. Okay, never mind. I have no faith anymore. Again.
To think of some ways that I could speed up my gameplay, or at the very least, make it a bit more efficient, as I was already struggling and this was only night 2. I knew
Also, like, why are you playing FNAF 2 the long way? Why are you playing FNAF 2 the long way?
I knew that mechanically I had more than enough speed to pull this off, but with so much to keep track of and pay attention to, I found myself moving way slower, like my brain was holding back my body. I initially thought that FNAF 2 would be the game that really killed this challenge, but the more that I played, it seemed like FNAF 4 was turning out far worse. On night 2, even though we have a music box to worry about, FNAF 2 doesn't require that much time. The music box in FNAF 2 drains faster as you get further and further into the game, but on night 2, we have a full 50 seconds before the box completely runs out. Not only that, but the only other check against idling in
Hey,
the
Peach
office,
Eye.
Foxy, is also very, very lenient. Foxy's equation for determining how long he waits in the hallway before jump scaring you is kinda complicated, but all that we really need to know is how many seconds we can go without flashing the hallway even if we're given the worst possible luck, which comes out to 21 minus whatever Foxy's AI level is on that night. On night 2, Foxy's AI ranges from 0 at 12 AM to 1 at 1 AM. This gives us a full 20 seconds that we can go without flashing Foxy and be perfectly fine. In retrospect, I definitely should have stalled out more in FNAF 2, but my instincts from 1020 mode were kicking in, and I was
Dude, why not play FNAF 2 stretched so we get thick Freddy?
set on keeping the box wound to full for some reason. I also began to try and stall out a little bit more in FNAF 4. Whenever you go up to a door in FNAF 4 to listen for breathing, the animatronic in that hallway, left for Bonnie and right for Chica, will fail all of their movements so long as you stay at the door. So I took the time to run up to a door whenever I went to go take care of things in other games. That way I could stall out one of them. Then when I returned to FNAF 4, I used a sneaky strategy to avoid listening for breathing. Usually, when you run up to a door in FNAF 4, you should wait to hear a kind of rasping sound. If you do, close the door and wait until you hear footsteps leaving the door. The game plays tricks on you by playing sound cues that sound very similar to this breathing. And if you
Holy
close the
shit,
door,
I swear I've never heard that sound effect ever in this game. That is freaky shit. Also, the other one was dragging an anvil, okay? I don't know what the hell he said before that, but that's what the sound is. Also, a Bussy, good to see you. I hope you enjoy the stream.
or when Bonnie or Chica is instead in the far hallway, they get forced to your door as punishment. However, if you already knew about this, you can just close the door, open it, then close it for 3 more seconds, and Bonnie and Chica will always be gone. Because I was trying to pay the most attention to FNAF 3 with sound cues, I didn't want to also have to deal with FNAF 4's, so I chose to use this strat for most of night 2. After about 50 minutes of playing, I was finally starting to settle in on how to move cleanly throughout each game, so I thought that it might be time to finally make something happen.
Pivotal career choices and self-reflection on past mistakes. Voice. For male, press 1. For female, press 2.
God, this song is so good. I only played chapter 1 and 2 in Deltarune. I should really probably play the rest. I really love that game. Skeleton, thank you for the follow.
Now we've made it through 5 of the 7 games on night 2, but remember, we don't officially beat a night until we've done it in all of the games. We still have Sister Location and FNAF 6 to get through. It was exceedingly rare that an attempt in this challenge would ever get
I'd
past
potentially
the first
play it
5
on
games
stream.
at once. So when I would get to FNAF 6, I would play extremely patiently. Even though there was only one animatronic in the building and he was moving very slowly, I still made sure to flash the motion detector every time I was about to do a task just to be 100% sure of his position. Once the night section
That is so funny. I heard the Nintendo 64 Smash Final Destination battle. That's also what I thought it was. When that music started playing, I thought I thought it was the song that played when you fought the Metal Mario or like the Metal character in the Smash 64 story mode. That's what I was thinking. But then I was like, oh yeah, this is Deltarune. But also I was like, oh, like Undertale. Dude, I swear it's like Undertale plus Mario 64 or Smash 64, which is then apparently Deltarune song.
Was done, I made sure to salvage Afton for our challenge requirement. We just have to survive the salvages, not get the money for them, so feel free to torture these poor souls as much as you want as long as it keeps you safe. With FNAF 6 done, now all of the pressure was on Sister Location. Night 2 in Sister Location is arguably one of the hardest in the main game, but if you know a bit about the game's code, we can make it a little easier. The first section is just holding this metal sheet to keep Bitty Babs from jump scaring you. As long as you keep your cursor on the edge, you'll always be okay. We have to run through Ballora Gallery next, which is usually very anxiety-inducing, as you have to listen for her to know when to stop. But it turns out that you can get through this room way faster and safer than normal. If you just tap the W key over and over again to move forward, you'll always be safe no matter what. The Sister Location dark room sections have a little bit of randomness to them, but to simplify, when you're not holding W, Ballora and Funtime Foxy move away, and when you are, they move closer. However, the rate at which they move away is much faster than the rate at which they approach, so as long as you tap and don't hold for too long, you'll always be okay. The last part of Night 2 is what most people associate with its difficulty, trying to reset all of these systems while Funtime Freddy approaches you, then playing a lure to move him back.
Mark's facial expressions are always like just top tier, man. They're so good.
This carefully would take a really long time. But again, there's another quirk in Sister Location's code that makes this much more convenient. You would think that Funtime Freddy would progress through his stages when the cameras are pulled up, but that's actually not the case. Funtime Freddy will only progress on 2-second intervals when the cameras are up and you're actively rebooting a system. So, if we just have a timer that auto-splits on the exact frame that we get into this maintenance office, we can just pull up the cameras and avoid holding to reboot any systems over 2-second intervals, making this section still very stressful, but at least a lot faster.
Okay,
once that was done, it was just one more trip through Ballora Gallery to finally finish our first actual night, taking a grand total of 30 minutes. God. That was just night 2, bro.
Exactly.
God, this is gonna suck. Oh my god. Yes, so this challenge was indeed going to suck, and it was going to get so much worse. But if you want to make me feel a little bit better and make this challenge worth doing, please consider subscribing. It's free, but of course, only do so if you're enjoying the video.
For the YouTube watchers out there, if you are watching and you like my reactions as well, you should consider subscribing, or you should also consider coming to my Twitch channel. Twitch chat. You should do like each on yes if the streams are cool and fun, or just do yes, okay? Can you shake your head yes and be like, man, the streams are so cool and so fun, and you should totally come like hang out with us because we'd love to have you. You should consider. It would make my day if you came by. Link to my Twitch channel is at the top of the description.
If Night 2 was the initial skill check to see if you're really ready for this challenge, Night 3 was the first true, actual night. There was a lot that I had to adjust and really optimize how I played these games. The first problem that I had to address was a good configuration for how to line up the windows of all these games on my computer. I needed a layout that would allow me to focus more on games that have a higher priority and needed to be visited more frequently. So I had to set a few rules for myself. Games that have higher priority should be more towards the center, and games that have lower priority should be more towards the edges. That way, if we notice something in a game with low priority, then we can complete tasks in the high priority games as we make our way over to that window. The second rule has to do with movement in each game. You see, with the exception of FNAF 3, every game on my main PC has something that you can mouse over to either pull up the cameras or turn. We don't want to be performing unintentional camera pulls or turns when we're trying to move between games quickly. So we have to position each game such that we can move throughout them without mousing over any of these buttons. On the bottom row, I have FNAF 2, 4, and 1 all in a...
Dude, the fact that there's a meta to like organizing your desktop as to where the games are is just... I get it. It makes sense, but it's just so crazy.
row. Then on the top row, I had FNAF 6, FNAF 3, and UCN. This forms a sort of upside down T shape for our high priority games, in which we can move throughout all of them quickly without triggering any critical actions. For the low priority games, I had to compromise by restricting some movement, but as long as we always access FNAF 6 from the bottom and UCN from the side, we should be okay. Once I got comfortable with this configuration, I was able to move much faster throughout each game, but there was still a problem. Even though FNAF 4 was the highest priority game, being directly in the center, I was still finding ways to die in it the most frequently, and the reason for that is our good old friend, Nightmare Foxy. If you guys don't know, I have had a very bad history with this seemingly random character in FNAF 4. I know I'm known to have bad luck on all of these games, but Nightmare Foxy specifically has no problem with rolling 1 in 10s or 1 in 100s consistently to end my runs. For previous
I feel like that statistic is not right. Because, yeah, I remember I learned that Foxy, it's like a 1 in 10 chance that Foxy comes into your closet. I just don't believe that. I just don't believe it. When I played FNAF 4, Foxy would consistently come into my room within like 10 seconds of every single night that I played. It's so strange.
Challenges, we were always dealing with him in max modes, so surely he's better now, as it's only night 3. And man, I wish you were right. In FNAF 4, Foxy starts out in the center living room and moves from hallway corner to hallway corner, with a directionally based sound cue indicating where he's at. When he's in a hallway corner, on a successful movement opportunity, he has a 9 in 10 chance to move to the opposite corner and
I just don't believe that. I just don't believe it.
a 1 in 10 chance to move into the hallway, making a louder sound cue. If you happen to be at the opposite door when he moves into a hallway, he'll rush into your office and get into your closet.
Yeah, and again, you also have to be on the opposite side, so it's almost like a 5% chance rather than 10%. Yet, dude, I'm telling you, when I played FNAF 4, like, he would get into my closet within the first hour so consistently, it's not even funny. I don't know. I feel like there's something wrong with the coding. Brown Bear, thank you for the follow.
On the night 2 win, he did get in the closet, but on night 3 and onwards, if he gets in, you're pretty much dead. And to understand why, we have to look at how Foxy is balanced in FNAF 4. I mentioned that the 9 in 10
thank you
and
so
1 in
much,
10
Star.
chances for
Welcome.
Foxy's movement is only on successful movement opportunities. So let's play a game. What do you think Foxy's movement chance is?
Let's play a game. Let's play a game.
Guys, do you like Saw? How does he even talk? I don't even know.
Let's play a game. Let's play a game. Let's play a game.
Is on night 3. For a little bit of reference, Bonnie and Chica's are both 35%. In previous games on night 3, it's 10%. So, on FNAF 4,
Michael. Michael. Don't leave me. Don't leave me.
Vampire, thank you for the follow.
why is Foxy moving 100% of the time on night 3? Unlike every other animatronic in the game, Foxy rolls his movement chance out of 10, not 20. He's essentially at max AI on night 3. Dude, you gotta fucking stop. I'm so serious, bro. What even is his AI level? I swear to God, if it's less than 10, I'm like, there's no shot. Dude, he is moving crazy.
He's moving crazy.
And that doesn't even affect his chance to go in the hallway either. It's a 1 in 10 no matter what. 10 the whole night. And then he's full. Why? What's the fucking point? Why is he higher on 3 than 4? I think the intention here was to force the player to adjust to him in the closet by night 3, since this
Yeah,
is
that
the
makes
single
sense.
highest AI jump between main nights in any FNAF game by far. Going from 1 AI at the beginning of night 2 to max AI at the beginning of night 3.
That is so interesting, and okay, I guess that's why. It must be a 10% chance, and that's right, but this is why it feels so strange. That's funny, and again, yeah, that's why he also felt weird about it. Huh.
Regardless, it is what it is. We're gonna have to find some way around this. I was thinking about my night 2 strategy, and I started to really wonder if the amount of time that I was spending on FNAF 4 was truly necessary. In all of the other FNAF games, when I've played them on their own, there's usually a period where I'm AFKing because there's just nothing else to do at that time. Every
Oh,
game
no.
except for FNAF 4. Every time that I've played FNAF 4, I have always been moving constantly. But maybe that wasn't necessary. How long could I actually get away with AFK AFKing in FNAF 4. If I could make up a new strategy that spent less time moving in this game to constantly deal with Foxy, then maybe we'd be okay. So I went into the lab to do some testing on FNAF 4. The first thing I had to figure out is who can kill you when you're just sitting in your bedroom, and what exactly do you have to do to trigger their jump scares. The first animatronic that comes to mind as an idle check in FNAF 4 is Nightmare Freddy, with the Freddle slowly appearing behind you on the bed, and eventually jump scaring you if you've gone too long without clearing the bed. Though, on the main nights, Freddy is much more generous than I initially thought. Every 4 seconds, Freddy will add his AI level to his progress. Once you reach 60 progress, you'll be guaranteed to die the next time you flash the bed. Once he reaches 80, you'll die even if you're camping a door. Freddy is only at 3 AI on night 3, meaning that we have a full 80 seconds until he reaches the point of no return with progress. However, it isn't that simple. Similar to how FNAF 6 animatronics get more aggressive if you haven't moved in a while, Freddy will progress 1 every 0.2 seconds if you haven't run in 30 seconds. Even though Freddy doesn't need to be flashed until 80 seconds have passed, we can never go 30 seconds or more without moving under any circumstances. The next characters we have to worry about are Bonnie and Chica, specifically their office
This
jump
game just
scares,
makes you
so I
move,
guess more
man.
like Bonnie and the cupcake. Bonnie and Chica will initiate an office jump scare if they've been waiting at a door for 20 minus the night number seconds. However, they can only do this if you're turning around from the bed. Theoretically, if we flash the Freddles and completely clear them, then turn around from the bed, we can wait for around 20 to 25 seconds completely for free, so long as we visit both Bonnie and Chica's doors before we go to clear the Freddles again. After doing a bit of field testing, I found out that yes, this does in fact work, and now we can spend way less time in FNAF 4 than with the old strategy. Not only is this strategy good for prioritizing other games, it
Of course, assuming that Foxy doesn't get into the bedroom, though.
also helps to reduce the RNG from Foxy. As remember, Foxy can only enter the office when we're at the opposite door of the hallway that he moves into.
Oh, that kind of combats it then. Interesting. Okay.
So instead of camping the door like before, we can just track him using sound cues while we're AFKing in FNAF 4 and dealing with other games. Then wherever he is, we'll go to that hallway first. To make sure we were spending as little time at the doors as possible, I also began to use a timer on top of all the games, but syncing it specifically with FNAF 4. Instead of doing the double close strategy, I would listen for breathing instead. If Bonnie or Chica was there, I'd close the door and wait until the next 3-second interval had passed on the timer, as Bonnie and Chica will always leave on these intervals. This saves a little bit of time over waiting for Bonnie and Chica's footsteps, as there's a little bit of silence before the sound cue starts within the file. And in this challenge, every second counts. There were still some times when I would rush the doors and end up dying to Bonnie and Chica, but most of the time, this was an improvement time-wise. Now, that's enough about FNAF 4. What are we doing differently everywhere else?
Hey, Rail.
FNAF 2 now has double the animatronic count that we were previously dealing with. Even though the primary concern of that game was the music box and Foxy, we'd still see a vent animatronic or two throughout the entire night. On night 3, the AI shift a bit as the withered animatronics become active and the game wants you to focus on them. To compensate, there's less activity from the toy animatronics, with Toy Bonnie and Toy Chica being set to 1 AI for most of the night, and Mangle and Toy Freddy being completely deactivated. Normally, this would be bad news for us. If the withered animatronics are in the office, they'll pull down the camera monitor on 10-second intervals, and if we happen to be paying attention to another game when this happens, we might not be able to react fast enough to survive. Thankfully, there is a way around this. In FNAF 1, when Freddy is outside of your door, if you have camera 4B selected, he's unable to move into your office even if the door is open. This is what's known as cam stalling. Cam stalling is a staple of the series, appearing in many other games. Like his FNAF 1 counterpart, Freddy is also cam stalled in FNAF 2. But not just Freddy, all of the withered animatronics are completely unable to move so long as you never move off of their camera. You might wonder why this even matters.
Are you going to try this challenge in the future? It depends how deep we go down in the rabbit hole, okay? I'm just gonna be honest. First, we gotta finish every mainline FNAF game. Maybe play a couple of fan games if we go further than that. After that, I mean, I could see myself trying like a FNAF lock or something. I mean, I could see a FNAF lock or something potentially. I mean, I'm not against it. I'm not against it, okay? I'm not against it. Hey, Vandy. Welcome. Hi. SMG, good to see you too.
Sure, we can freeze the withered animatronics for a little bit, but eventually we'll have to switch off to cam 11 in order to wind the music box, and none of the withered animatronics go through that camera. Well, what if we
FNAF Lock is so much easier than this challenge, though. Yeah, that's why I said I'm gonna do that one.
could select 2 cameras at once? You see, FNAF 2 only saves what camera you're on every 0.2 seconds. So if you switch cameras, then pull down the camera monitor before that check runs, you'll now seemingly be in 2 cameras at once. If we do this trick by selecting cam 11 and cam 8, the parts and service cam where all of the withered animatronics start out, we can completely freeze Bonnie, Chica, and Freddy for the entire night, while still retaining the ability to wind the music box. This does add another somewhat precise glitch that we have to do at the start of the night along with the Foxy glitch, but I would say that it's worth it overall. Though we've frozen most of the cast, the music box has received a significant—
Okay, chat, if like you had to pick an animatronic to kiss on the lips, who would you choose? But like only if you had to, right?
buff from night 2 to 3, going from 50 seconds to 33.33 seconds in wind time. But our new FNAF 4 strategy helps us to keep fully wound up. For all other games, our strategies were either the exact same or made easier. Foxy's AI in FNAF 1 is now set to 2 instead of 1, and I would typically see him in the hallway around—
Find Tom Foxy based the puppet. It's pretty funny. I'd rather stay silent. Bro, do not plead the fifth on this. I'm gonna think the worst then. I'm gonna think that like one fucking weird ass guy that has like brown skin like Freddy, but he has like a fucking magic wand. Who the hell wants to kiss that fucking weirdo on the lips? Apparently you.
Around 1 minute to 1 minute and 30 seconds, making the Foxy glitch a lot more consistent to get earlier in the night. As long as I could get lucky with FNAF 3, hit my glitches in FNAF 2 and 1, and maintain my
Question, are we using tongue? If he wants, I would say it's not mandatory, but also, you know, I would say you can take creative liberties on that one.
Strategies in FNAF 4, we might be able to move on to the next night. I started up a run and things were looking good. I hit the double cam glitch in FNAF 2 and hit the Foxy glitch in FNAF 1 around 1:50.
Dude, oh my god. Not to like be weird, but because someone mentioned it at the start of my stream, dude, it was so crazy when like I was having my first kiss with my first girlfriend in the back of Hollister in like a dark corner of the shopping floor. Because I remember like we were kissing normal and like that was like crazy and I was like losing my mind already. And then all of a sudden she stuck her tongue in there and like, dude, oh my gosh. That was like crazy. I'll never forget it. I'll never fucking forget it. She was so domineering. Dude, she like controlled me. It was kind of hot. Oh god.
I kept playing and things were looking even better. Springtrap was being really nice, and soon enough, I had finished UCN. At this point, I had spent around double the time I had on night 2 on night 3, and I was really looking to get this done right now. I was attempting this challenge during the week leading up to and my finals week, so stress levels were at an all-time high, which made what happened next sting even more. As I finished UCN, I looked down at FNAF 1 and realized something was off. The power usage was still on 2 bars. Ever since I had done the sprite overwrite glitch, the left light had never turned off, and I didn't know why. Every time I had done this glitch before, I'd never had this issue. Sure, the light takes a while to turn off, but eventually it does, and we win the night with more than enough power. Well, it turns out that I never truly understood how this glitch works this entire time. I've always thought that there was some time limit for how long the light can be on, and once that limit is reached, then the light turns off. But that isn't the case. The light can only be turned off in 3 ways. You either click the button again to turn it off, pull up the cameras, or Bonnie or Chica jams the door while the light is on. In the state the game puts us in after the sprite overwrite glitch, we're only able to turn the light off in one of these 3 ways. We're completely relying on Bonnie to get to the door and jam the light in order for us to have—
so cute. Bonnie has to do it. God, I love Bonnie so much. She's just like my favorite, man. I love her so much. Whenever I talk about pizza bagel bites, like earlier on stream, I was talking about how I was making like pizza bagel bites after like my job. And whenever I think about them, I also think about Bonnie, because if you didn't know, Bonnie's favorite food is pizza bagel bites. And whenever she like can't sleep during the night and she gets a little restless, she wants to she always gets up to try and make some pizza bagel bites at like 1 or 2 a.m. But the problem is that like she usually struggles making them herself, which is why she comes to your office to ask for some help to make some pizza bagel bites for her. So if you close the door on her face, just know that you're denying a child of pizza bagel bites and you're basically starving them, and it's kind of like child torture, and you're keeping them malnourished. It's really messed up. So just do that, and also know that when Foxy comes to your door, they're actually asking if you could Amazon Prime them some programmer socks because they're experimenting with their sexuality and gender. And then know that Chica's coming to your door to have sex, and and then Freddie is just coming to your door to have you survey his music career. He's really proud of the music that he's making. He's got a lot of tunes that he's playing, and he just wants some honest feedback. And he does that late at night when everyone else is sleeping. Now, what's ironic about that is that everyone else is actually awake, kind of going through their own thing too. But he doesn't know that. He thinks it's kind of like a private time for you guys to sit down, analyze his music, and see what he can improve on. So if you're curious about, what the animatronics are actually doing and thinking, this is what's actually going on.
Enough power to survive the night. I'd never even thought about this before, as every other time that I used the sprite overwrite glitch, Bonnie had either been at max AI or an AI high enough to the point where getting to the left door at some point during the night was very likely. I think Scott designed nights 2 and 3 of FNAF 1 to be Bonnie and Chica's nights respectively, as on night 2, Bonnie's AI is much higher than Chica's, and on night 3, Chica's AI is much higher than Bonnie's.
I really like breaking it down in this type of way too. Again, you just learn about like every single night in FNAF and how they kind of want you to play around it and like what each night signifies. I don't know. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. I really like this. I remember playing through night 3 and being really sad that I like never saw Bonnie though, because they are my favorite character. If you didn't know, I mean, you probably did know because I talk about loving Bonnie all the time, but yeah. Also, Kata, Electric, and Old Gregor. Thank you for the follows, guys. If you're still here, thank you so much.
With Bonnie's AI only ranging from 1 to 3 for all of night 3, it wasn't very likely that he would show up at our door, then roll another successful movement to jam it, especially with how non-linear the movement paths are in FNAF 1. And that was exactly what happened in our case. We had hit the glitch, and we had the skill to beat all the—
Dude, do not use the very chip emote. Oh my god, I could go for some chips right now, damn.
other games, but Bonnie was too lazy to jam our door, and we powered out in FNAF 1, resetting us back to night 3 on 4 other games.
I'm gonna power out in 1, bro. Why can't Bonnie fucking show up, dude?
God, like, what's your favorite chip,
If he just
dude?
shows up one time.
I love hers
With, like,
kettle
5%
cooked
left is all I
original
need,
chips.
bro.
They're so yummy.
6%, no. Dude. Yes! Oh my god, yes!
Oh, great,
Turn
happy to have you.
Turn off.
Hey, Adge.
No. Bonnie, why couldn't you have been earlier? Bonnie. No, I'm so f***ed.
I love ranch Doritos.
Mother.
I know Bones is kind of having a mental breakdown right now, but dude, oh my gosh, yeah. Well, sour cream and onion is very solid. I don't get them too often. But dude, did you know the ranch Doritos, they have a new, like, no artificial dyes ranch Doritos? So, like, they don't look like they have seasoning on them. They just look like a random, like, chip. I don't know. My mom's buying them right now because she's on, like, her health arc. Which is cool. So yeah, now I'm eating ranch Doritos, and they look like they're flavorless, but they taste the exact same. It's crazy.
Why is that happening?
My mom wants to live longer, for us and also my, my nephew, my sister's kid. So she's like, I gotta be more health conscious. Not that my mom is like unhealthy or anything like that. But yeah, my parents both want to like stick around and stuff like that. My parents are also older. William, thank you for the follow. I've been yapping a lot all of a sudden, but like, yeah, not to get like weird or anything like that. And like completely derail this reaction. But yeah, it's weird. Like knowing that your parents are going to like pass away like fairly soon. Again, not as in like literally this year. I mean, God willing, of course. But yeah, it's like it's strange that it's just like a conversation to have and just being like, yeah, like you know, you're not gonna be here soon. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But yeah, unfortunately my parents had me when they were like quite a bit older, so like they're already quite old. Um yeah, but I love them. Hopefully they stay a while.
How that works, dude. That's so dumb. Ugh.
This was pretty tragic, but there was a way around it. On that run, I wasn't conserving any power at all prior to doing the Foxy glitch. In fact, I had both doors closed for about 30 seconds before I did the glitch. And it's not like that run was that far off from winning. I only had about 30 seconds to go. The earlier nights in FNAF 1 give you a lot more power than the later ones, so if I could green run for about 2 minutes in FNAF 1, then pull off the Foxy glitch, I think I'd be okay. And sure enough, after a lot more Nightmare Foxy and Springtrap deaths, and some just out-of-this-world odds, I got one more run that was on track to do just that.
What is this
Welcome
song?
back to another. We offer several musical selections to help make this elevator.
Underground banger?
Our first run past the initial
Okay, I gotta stop because we gotta get locked back into the video. This is what happens when I get up and pee. Someone said I need to stop vaping. Dude, my coworker came up to me today and he was like, God, dude, the way he talks, he's like, you want to take a hit of my yart? And I'm like, what the fuck? What do you mean your yart? And he's like, oh yeah, like my weed vape. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. And he's like, do you want to buy one? And I was like, no. And he's like, but do you want to see it? And I'm like, okay. And he's like, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. It's so cool. There's 3 different strands inside of this weed vape. And like, look at it. So like, hit the button and you'll see. So it has Candy Island. It has Devil's Lettuce. And then it has Jing Jong Express. It's so cool. And if you tap the switch button 5 times, you can take a hit of all 3 strains at the same time. And I was like, whoa. And I was like, what's this thing that says like full drag and it has like a 0 or a blinker. It was like it said blinker and a 0. I'm like, what does it mean when it says like blinker and a 0? And he's like, oh, you don't know what a blinker is? And I'm like, I've heard of it, but like no. And he's like, oh, it's when like you hit the yart so hard that it starts blinking and like shutting down because you're dragging too hard. And I'm like, oh. And he's like, and I was like, so it keeps track of how many times you rip the vape too hard? And he's like, yeah, isn't that cool? And I was like, what is this contraption, dude? Like, genuinely, what the fuck is in my hands? So funny. I'm so happy that he showed it to me, but I'm like, this is the like literally the strangest thing I've ever seen.
5 games on night 3. From here,
What's unfortunate is it's like so designed to like appeal to like 15-year-olds that smoke, you know what I mean?
I just needed to be really careful in FNAF 6, then it was all up to Sister Location.
It's like the fucking TikTok vape, you know what I mean?
Night 3 in Sister Location isn't a very long night, and is arguably the easiest out of all of the main nights with actual gameplay. But that doesn't mean that it isn't nerve-wracking. The first section of the night involves running through the Funtime Auditorium, which in our case is the exact same as the Ballora Gallery. Just tap W and you'll always be okay. Next up is Parts and Service. All we have to do here is click some buttons on Funtime Freddy and do as hand unit instructs. Thankfully, we have all the time in the world to prepare. So even though I was on a dollar store mouse and a garbage laptop, I was okay.
Bro was actually using a dollar store mouse when doing this challenge. I like can't even believe that that's true. But he's a college student. Bro, you have 300,000 subs. What are you doing? Dude, I literally have a Logitech G305. It's a wireless mouse. It's like $35 on sale at this point, and it will last you 10 years. It's the best fucking mouse you'll ever buy. I cannot recommend this mouse enough. It's so good. It is kind of for little hands, though. If you have really big hands, it'll probably be kind of tough for you to use, but it's so good.
Last part of this night involves hitting a button on the Bonbon hand puppet. Just hold your cursor away from him for about 8 to 10 seconds, flick up and hit the button, and boom, you're done. And with that, we've completed night 3. Now we can move on to, without question, the hardest night in this challenge. You see, night 3 in Sister Location doesn't end with us leaving the building like every other night. It ends with a scripted jump scare. So for night 4, we're going to have to play things a little bit differently.
Oh god. Oh god.
In previous challenges where I beat multiple games at once, a lot of people would always comment about how cheap it was to use glitches or stalling games, since then you're not actually playing them all at once. Well, this night is the night for you. Throughout this entire challenge so far, we've been cowering in the elevator in Sister Location until the other games are finished. But now, we don't have a choice anymore. In night 4, you spawn inside a spring-locked suit, and there is—
Yes! Oh my god, this is literally what I've been waiting for. I do not understand how he is going to beat this night when this whole spring lock thing is happening and he has to manage every single game. I do not understand how this is going to be doable. I just don't know. Also, yes, I use an Elgato Wave 3. It's amazing. I mean, so at this point, microphones are finally evolving to where it is not fully required to get this mouse or to get this mic anymore, because Elgato has a software you can just download to get like a free audio mixer like in your program, like as just like a file, and it's not like connected to any kind of microphone anymore. But yeah, the Wave is so good. It sounds great, and it also has software on it that just like allows you to manage your audio on your computer to like such a higher level. It's amazing.
There's no way to wait this one out. Once the cutscene of Ballora getting scooped plays, you're now stuck in the middle of the night. We can't do anything to delay the night starting.
Elgato is amazing. If you've ever considered buying anything Elgato, I would pretty much fully recommend it. The only thing I wouldn't is like their lighting. They sell like $160 lights, and it's like, oh, you could like, it's like a wireless thing, and you have like a switch, and like you can change the color. It's pretty fucking overpriced, I'm gonna be honest. All of their technology is priced pretty high, but I would say all of it is definitely worth it. Their stream decks are 100% worth it. Their microphones are 100% worth it. A lot of it is genuinely just so amazing. Stream decks are mostly useless for people. Yes, Stream Deck is only useful if you are a streamer or if you're just an extreme macro nerd, because there are some people out there that are, or you're a pretty invested like office type of worker that is also super tech heavy. If you're a regular person or just kind of like a regular ass nerd, you're probably not going to use it much. But yeah, I mean, stream decks are so useful for me, obviously. Monkey, thank you for the follow.
Now, this is already bad on its own, as we're now going to have to somehow control 2 different computers simultaneously. But what's even worse is the actual gameplay of Night 4 in Sister Location. In the very beginning of the video, I talked about the exact kind of mechanics that we wanted to avoid in each game. The absolute worst one was music box-based mechanics, where we have to hold something and wind it up. And guess what this night is? 10 music boxes. The gameplay of Night 4 of Sister Location consists of you keeping 10 different spring—
Okay, I'm trying to lock into the video and I will now. It is not $120 for 20 macros. You can have you can put a little next button at like the bottom right button, and it takes you to a whole nother screen with 20 more buttons or whatever. You can actually have infinite buttons and infinite folders. So no, it's not just for fucking 20. And again, also you can put any kind of picture you want on it. The buttons feel amazing. They're extremely responsive. It looks really clean sitting on your desk. It's really good. If you're a macro nerd in general, it is 100% worth that money. It just is.
Locks wound up while the mini arenas try to climb inside your suit. If any of the spring locks become fully unwound or a mini arena gets in your suit, you will die. This was without a doubt the night that I was fearing the most in this challenge. Realistically, I had no idea how I could even keep everything in Sister Location wound up, but I had to find a way. The first thing that I had to figure out was how much I had to do concurrently with Sister Location. And for that, we have to look at the night lengths of all the games, and how long it takes to get to the gameplay portion of Night 4 in Sister Location. From the second that you click the continue button on the menu in Sister Location to the moment the actual gameplay of the night starts, you have to wait through a 5-minute and 34-second cutscene. Normally, this would be extremely annoying, but for our sake, thank God that baby talks for so long.
Okay. I'm starting to understand how maybe it can be possible.
By the time the cutscene is up, we will have sprite overwrite glitched FNAF 1 out, and UCM will be completely finished, as nights in that game only last 4 minutes and 30 seconds, leaving FNAF 2, 3, 4, and 6. FNAF 3 and 4 only last 6 real-life minutes, and we already determined that we can
Real-life
AFK in
minutes.
FNAF 4 for 30 seconds max.
Why would you say that? You can just say FNAF 4 lasts 4 minutes, right? You don't have to say real life minutes.
Maximum, meaning that if we can get into a good spot in both FNAF 3 and FNAF 4, we should be okay for those games. This just leaves FNAF 2 and 6 with sister location.
And before I get a YouTube comment, actually, minutes mean something different in FNAF. Dude, I'm not gonna lie, there's one comment that kind of lives in my head rent-free. I posted my Amazing Digital Circus reaction video. And in the beginning of the video, I was like, hey, I don't really know what Amazing Digital Circus is. I heard it's like kind of like a mystery show a little bit. So maybe we'll like pause and analyze the show a little bit, which we did. And anyway, the guy in the comments basically said, like, you said that. And then whenever you did pause the show, you just talked about irrelevant shit that pissed me off. This was like the worst video I've ever seen. And it made me so angry. And I literally like cannot live a healthy functioning life anymore because you've ruined my entire experience of reaction VTubers. I hate you. And it was like, what the fuck, bro? Like, what is your problem? Get wrecked, bro. And here's the thing though, the next comment, the guy was like, thank you so much for breaking down Gangle's character so well in the fast food restaurant episode. I've never seen anyone else do it like that, and I really appreciate your empathy for the character as a whole. So it's like, what the fuck? Like, which one is it? One of them is lying.
And unfortunately, we have no way to get out of these games. FNAF 2's night length is exactly 7 minutes, so we'll have to survive a full minute and 30 seconds playing with FNAF 2 and sister location simultaneously. What's worse, FNAF 2 is probably the single worst game Scott could have chosen to be 7 minutes. Remember, this is the game that also has the music box, and arguably the game that we've had the first or second most priority on this entire challenge. So what can we possibly do to make this work? Well, I figured that before I was even going to attempt runs, I should at least be able to beat Sister Location's Night 4 while surviving in FNAF 2. I wanted to make sure that with just these 2 games alone, I was reasonably consistent, and here's what I came up with. I mentioned before how I was using a dollar store mouse and my school laptop to run Sister Location, meaning I would have to constantly switch between that mouse and my
So fucked up. I can't believe he's doing it this way. I honestly just fucking can't.
Other mouse to deal with FNAF 2. Looking at the AI chart for FNAF 2 on night 4, we see 2 regular animatronics that will be appearing the most, Balloon Boy and Mangle, which is very good for us. And if you've been around the internet recently, you'll know why. Mangle and Balloon Boy will both make distinct sound cues to indicate that they're in our vent blind spots. Mangle with her static, and Balloon Boy with his high sound cue. Since masked characters appear so infrequently in the main nights of FNAF.
Dude, what? Okay, the actual high that lives in my head rent-free, more than even Balloon Boy's high, is hi, which no one probably knows what I'm doing, but it's a character in the Binding of Isaac. Well, it's a mob. It's like an enemy. It goes hi. And then it like shoots one of its like bloody tears at you. It goes, hi. Someone knows what I'm talking about, dude. Hi. Dude, it's all I think about. It's all I think about, dude.
FNAF 2, it's rare that 2 ever appear at once. So if we ever hear a vent bang followed by another vent bang and a high, we know that Balloon Boy is here. And if we hear Mangle static, we know that she's here. This means that we won't ever have to check the vent lights in FNAF 2, which is crucial as we want as little mouse movement between these games as possible. When I was focused on sister location, I'd use my right hand to control the sister location mouse and wind the spring locks.
What is bro doing, bro?
On sister location, I'd use my right hand to control the sister location mouse and wind the spring locks. Then, with my left hand, cross over my arm and periodically hit control on my main keyboard for Foxy in FNAF 2. Once the music box was close to running out in FNAF 2, I'd pass the laptop mouse to my left hand, then grab the main mouse with my right hand, winding the spring locks and the box in FNAF 2 at the same time. Once the box was wound in FNAF 2, I'd switch back to the cross arm position and continue. This doesn't sound too hard on paper until you realize how much harder Night 4 is in sister location compared to every other night. The general gameplay is just
so now he's somehow convinced me that using the dollar store mouse and the extra computer is actually better. This is just so ridiculous.
finding spring locks, but a lot more goes into it than that. I mentioned earlier that you have to prevent mini arenas from climbing into your spring lock suit, and you do that by wiggling. As you'd expect, wiggling
Guy looks like a FNAF DJ. Oh my god. Wait, oh my god. What does he say? He goes, oh my god, what, dude, someone knows the video I'm talking about. It's like a little skinny nerdy kid that's like probably 10 years old with his dad, and they're in his room, and they have like these little toy like car like train track thing, and they turn on like a DJ like flashing light thing. He goes like, all right everyone, let's go. He was like, all right, let's go, all right, let's go. What the I forget exactly what he says, but someone knows what I'm talking about. It's so good, dude. It's literally one of my favorite videos of all time.
will loosen all of the spring locks in the suit, so we have to stall for as long as possible between wiggles so that we can get more winding time. The mini arenas that are climbing into the suit don't matter, they're just visual. The only lethal ones are the ones that climb up onto your suit. The mini arena on the right will always spawn before the one on the left, so wait until the right one is just about to go off screen, then wiggle 4 times to knock them both off. Every time you wiggle, a random number is rolled between 1 and 2 and is applied to each mini arena. Once the number on a mini arena is greater than or equal to 4, they fall down. This means that with the worst possible luck, you need to wiggle 4 times. And since we don't have eyes on both mini arenas,
so what's crazy about this is that when I beat this, the only thing I ever did was I would do left, right, left. I would go left, right, left. So I would shake 3 times, and somehow that always worked for me. So I don't know. I guess I got lucky every time I played the game, but I never got the 4 ever.
just wiggle 4 times to be safe. As a quick side note here, people like to say that the pre-patch version of this night is super hard, but the only thing that it changes from the current version is making this counter require 5 to unstick the mini arenas instead of 4, making this pre-patch only harder 6% of the time when you unstick mini arenas. Not super relevant here, just thought I would mention it since we were talking about the AI of Sister Location's main game. The gameplay portion of this night lasts 3 minutes total, and it's very important to know exactly where you are in these 3 minutes. The spring locks will begin to unwind faster and faster as the night goes on, and you'll have to adjust how much you need to wind each spring lock on each visit depending on the night time. For the first 2 minutes and 15 seconds of the night, you're going to want to wind each spring lock to full, no exceptions. Then at 2:15, start winding to about 3/4. Between 2:30 and 2:45, gradually start winding from about 5 o'clock to halfway. Then
thanks,
from
Dan.
2:45 to the end of the night, just winds enough to keep the spring locks from killing you, as they'll be unwinding so fast that you won't have time to wind anymore. On my laptop, I configured a live split timer that resets every time the frame of the game changes, so it's as exact as possible. And on this timer, the night will end at 8:15, so we'll have to remember what all those times come out to for our timer. Amidst all of this, try your hardest to turn around at some point in FNAF 6. We're still trying to stall out in this game, and I was just hoping to God for some good luck here. Winding the box and dealing with the occasional masked character in FNAF 2 was already chaotic enough. But if you're able to find the time, turning around at least once will drastically increase our chances of survival. With a lot of practice switching between 2 and Sister Locations controls, I
Bro
managed
has never done that scene transition ever, by the way.
to start getting some wins with them. Now it was time to start up some official attempts. And we're going to need that consistency, because man, Night 4 saw a huge jump in difficulty. Even outside of the crazy stuff we have to pull at the end with Sister Location, just surviving for the first 5 minutes was brutal. She was not there. Count them. 1, 2 seconds. No breathing. None. You were not there.
Fucking stricken whoever the hell.
Oh my.
I don't remember. Not pop off. He was.
Yo, doggy, should we just quit for today? Rest late at night.
Like, he doesn't know you.
FNAF
Have you guys seen the Geometry Dash guy that did like he faked all of his blindfolded speed runs, and he was like this really professional guy, and he would start the video and he's like not in his chair, and then he'd like walk over and sit in his chair, and then he'd go like and then he'd grab his blindfold and like tie it behind his head all dramatically, and then like quietly put his hands down on the desk, and then fucking do his little clickies and beat it blindfolded. Oh my god, dude, it's so funny.
2 and FNAF 4 have become
Like, how did anyone think that was real?
increasingly more demanding, and trying to pay attention to Springtrap's position was becoming harder and harder. I had to make up a new strategy for FNAF 3 that, even if it might use more RNG, would require less time spent in the game. I already knew that Cam 6 was the best position that Springtrap could be in, so instead of trying to hold down multiple vents at once, I just kept my camera monitor locked on camera 6, spammed audio lures, and hoped to God that he wouldn't go anywhere else.
Makes
If I
sense.
instead heard the loud danger sound, I would switch out Cam 6 for Cam 2, but aside from that, the rest was just praying that Springtrap would be chill. Once I ran out of audio lures, I'd immediately reboot all systems instead of just audio. That way I could always be sure that ventilation and cameras wouldn't fail on me randomly. And it would take the same amount of time anyway for me to get back to FNAF 3 from the other games. With this new FNAF 3 strategy, there wasn't much else to do besides throwing myself with this challenge and grinding attempts. Despite all of my previous vanilla FNAF game experience, this was the point where I really started to get overwhelmed. This is definitely the most brain-based challenge that I've ever done on this channel. Like, you have to keep track of where this Foxy is, and this Foxy, and this Foxy, and also how long it's been since you turned in FNAF 6. How long has it been since you ran in FNAF 4? Is BB here? Is Mangle here? Where's Springtrap at? Do you have to reset in UCN? Combining all the memory with the prioritization of what to do when, it was just a lot to think about all at once.
I would genuinely hate
Most
doing
challenges
this.
that I've done on this channel require you to think, yes, but are a lot more based on pure mechanical skills, like speed, aiming, and precision, where I tend to excel more at. It was also just starting to get really tedious, like just setting up the damn games would take nearly 5 to 7 minutes. It was starting to get into crunch time. For those who are new here, I'm currently in college studying computer science, and I had one weekend until finals week. I was already behind on my video schedule, so I had to beat
Okay, I will say grinding a video like this a week before finals is kind of insane. Respect on that. That's crazy.
this here and now, and I was sure that night 5 wouldn't be as bad once we were back to normal sister location. With enough time, my brain started to adjust. I was getting used to keeping track of everything, and soon enough, I was getting some deep runs. I knew it wouldn't be long until I had my first run to sister location.
Thank you for the follow, Dan. Dude, I just keep looking. I keep thinking he's like jorking it. I don't know. Is it just me? Is it just me? Am I weird? It just feels like the jork hand's coming out. I don't know.
I had made it to sister location for the first time, and despite all of the isolated practice that I had, a death here was to be expected. Because of nerves, bad left-handed aim, and a sloppy transition out of the first half of the night, I ended up losing—
It's not what I want to see. No, it's not. No, it's not. Don't say that. I would never want to see something like that, ever. I think I'm seeing it because I totally don't want to see it. It's like the last thing that I want to see.
a lot of wine time in sister location, and with all the nerves of finally getting here, I ended up losing the run. But now, I had the night in 2 segments. I knew that I was capable of beating sister location alone with FNAF 2, and every other game simultaneously for the first 5 minutes. All I had to do was just bring it home in one run.
He definitely does jork, though. I mean, yeah, I think you're probably right. I don't jork until I beat this FNAF challenge. Can I beat all FNAF games at once while jorking it? That's gotta be the next one, right? I mean, what else would it be? I mean, how else do you top this?
I couldn't believe it. The practice had paid off, and I was finally done with night 4. All I had to do was play the most nerve-wracking
All I had to do is wait for Chica to arrive at the right door. After that, that's when the Shmeat came out.
night of Pizzeria Simulator ever, and I'd finally be done with this night. And
I
that
don't
was it.
understand how
One
he
of the
did
hardest
this.
nights on this channel done. Is what I would have said had that sister location window been real.
What?
That entire montage you guys watched was fake. Why? I've had some tragic fails in my time, dying seconds before wins in almost every challenge I've done, but I have never done a challenge where I win but I forget to record.
Okay, to be fair, it's on his other laptop, so he's probably not used to recording that, right?
No. I wasn't. Oh my god, no.
I would hate my life. Oh my god, this is actually literally like the worst thing ever.
We are unsure of its origin. It is your job to complete the maintenance checklist before claiming
The fact that there's like the guy in the background talking right now is like somehow absolute cinema.
it as salvage. Or
Oh my god, you can't be serious. You can't be.
That's right, I had forgotten to record the sister location POV on my laptop, and even though the entire run had been captured by my second camera, it wasn't enough for my standards of proof. I had to go back, and I had to do it again.
Dude,
7 games, 3 days.
I did not realize that was him at first, by the way. He really looks like a girl. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No wins. Who the plays max modes without checking OBS first? I don't have the time.
On the bright side, at least this shows night 4 is possible, but I had
He
no idea.
literally just has long hair. No, but like, no. No.
No wins.
No. Do you see this? Do you see this face shape? Do you see these lips? Do you see this like kind of like eyebrow to eye ratio? His hair is almost looking like he has like a winged fucking eyeliner going on. No, dude, this like looks quite femme. This looks quite femme. This is not just he has long hair, dude. He looks pretty feminine, dude. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, I think it's cute, but I'm just saying, like, this is like a fairly feminine face. I'm not saying he's more feminine looking than masculine, but I'm saying that this looks quite androgynous.
Yeah, how long it was gonna take until I got that kind of luck again, and then execute on top of that. There were more fails and more RNG, but my execution remained sharp. I knew the next time that I got to sister location, I was not going to make the same mistake again.
Does anyone know this song? What is this? Okay, guys, but okay, when the music is playing, look right. There you go, you can see my mouse. Okay, see here, in FNAF 3, watch Purple Guy come in here and listen to the music, dude. He's jamming. so good. It's actually so good.
As the moon rises, so also rises the tension between.
It's crazy that he's just staying alive in Pizza Sim for this long. Like, this is like a 13-minute night? That's nuts. But hey, I mean, if it works, right?
God damn!
Before you is an animatronic found in the back alley. We are unsure of its origins.
Finally, I had remembered to record, and night 4 had been conquered. This was one of the most stressful nights I've ever had to attend.
Also, like, call it a character flaw. I mean, I think it's more of a Bones character flaw. If we are saying either one is a character flaw, but bro, if that was me, I would have just recorded fucking the sister location thing and just kind of, you know, just sort of edit it together to make it look like, you know, it was like the same run. Because, like, I mean, come on, like, this is insane to make yourself go back and torture yourself on that. You did it. Like, fuck, damn.
Attempting a challenge.
It's finals week.
So, to take a rest, I decided to go watch the new FNAF 2 movie, as I had beaten it on its release day. And it was... odd.
We got the Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
Little P or Big D?
Listen to my wonderful audience.
Do you want to go by Pee-Pee?
Hello, I hope...
Do you want to go by pee-pee? Do you want to go by pee-pee?
Vaughn, listen to my wonderful audience.
Do you want to go by Pee-Pee?
Do you want to go by pee-pee?
Or Big D?
Or Big D? Wait, what is happening?
Vaughn, listen to my wonderful audience.
Do you want to go by Pee-Pee?
Do you want to go by pee-pee?
Or Big D?
Or Big D? What the fuck? What the fuck is happening?
Vaughn, listen to my wonderful audience.
Do you want to go by Pee-Pee? Or Big D?
Vaughn, listen to my wonderful audience.
Do you want to go by Pee-Pee? Or Big D?
Vaughn, listen to my wonderful audience.
Do you want to go by Pee-Pee? Or Big D?
I have to be hearing this wrong, right? I have to be hearing this wrong, right? What is happening?
Vaughn, listen to my wonderful audience.
Do you want to go by Pee-Pee? Or Big D?
We get it? I'm sorry. This is where my autism, like, actually goes crazy. I don't have autism. But you know how, like, you take tests and then, like, you get points that, like, allocate, and, like, if you get enough points, it's like you're fucking autistic. This is, like, the one category where I'm 10 out of 10 autistic. Like, I will just, like, repeat things over and 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 over again. I could literally replay this 30 more times, but I will only do it. I'll do it 2 more times, and then I know that, like, I really got to move forward.
Vaughn, listen to my wonderful audience.
Do you want to go by Pee-Pee? Or Big D?
Vaughn, listen to my wonderful audience.
Do you want to go by Pee-Pee? Or Big D?
Vaughn, listen to my wonderful audience.
Do you want to go by Pee-Pee? Or Big D?
Vaughn,
How is this coming from the movie?
listen to my wonderful audience.
Do you want to go by Pee-Pee? Or Big D?
The is so good.
Vaughn, listen to my wonderful audience.
Do you want to go by Pee-Pee? Or Big D?
Vaughn, listen to my wonderful audience.
Do you want to go by Pee-Pee?
Hello,
I'll stop. I really want to do way more, but I'll stop.
hope you will enjoy this Five Nights. And then I go up to the front and say that I'm the Bones 5, and everyone claps. I'm not gonna do that because no one would respond like I totally do.
Now we only have one night left to see if it's truly possible
Do you
to
wanna
beat
buy
every
pee-pee?
FNAF game simultaneously. It's time for night 5. Going into night 5, I was pretty optimistic. At least, I knew it wasn't going to have any other crazy left-handed mouse aiming for this night, as we start back in the elevator in sister
Thank you,
location.
Chad.
But there are some other concerns. The first of which has to do with FNAF 4. On night 5, all the nightmare animatronics despawn and are replaced with Fredbear. No, not that Fredbear. Thank God that trend died, dude. Who in a way can act like all of them. He can move into the hallways like Bonnie and Chica, runs between them like Foxy, but can also teleport into the bed and closet like Freddy and Foxy.
Nah, in general, I think this is better though. I think this is better for maintenance.
I wasn't sure how dealing with him was going to be until I started playing, but I knew off the bat that our new idle strat in FNAF 4 was not going to work with Fredbear. Fredbear requires you to constantly keep track of his position with sound cues, and once he moves into a hallway, you'll have to clear him within 15 seconds or else he'll jump scare you. If he moves into the bed or closet, this will instead be 20 seconds. Regardless, we're going to be moving a lot more in FNAF 4. Ultimate Custom Night is also getting to be a bit more challenging. We're now forced to do 40-20 mode, and we've pretty much exhausted every character that wasn't a problem before. Out of everyone here, I chose to add the toy animatronics, Freddy, Rockstar Freddy, Nedbear, and Orville. This means that now, every time that we leave the UCN window, we'll have to always have the mask on in case either Toy Bonnie or Toy Chica spawns. And every time that we reset the ventilation, we'll have to close the left door along with the vent, and check if Rockstar Freddy wants us to pay him. If he does, either pay him or use the heater for 1 second to glitch him out. It doesn't sound like much, but in combination with Fredbear, these extra few seconds in UCN could add up. It's also now possible for us to die when pulling up the cameras if we aren't fast enough, which adds some additional RNG.
Orville death. Orville death. Ooh, it's heatering him. Oh my god.
Everywhere else, things aren't looking any better. We're now up to all 4 animatronics in FNAF 6. And though my strategy was still very good for stalling out, I would get the occasional death over there. The music box in FNAF 2 is now 5 seconds faster, and the toy animatronics are much more frequent, especially Toy Freddy. I talked before about how characters that can force our cameras down with blackouts would not be good for this challenge, and though the double cam glitch was able to handle most of them, we really can't stop Toy Freddy here, so if he happens to catch us off guard, we could lose a run. Springtrap isn't that much harder than his Night 4 counterpart, but the circumstances of Night 5 make the night as a whole much worse. Natural errors occur much more frequently on Night 5, and most importantly, we only have 2 audio lures per reboot. This makes it pretty difficult to keep Springtrap locked in camera 6, so we're going to have to rely a bit more on tracking and luck, and just hope that Springtrap is reasonably nice to us. The only game that got a bit more manageable is FNAF 1, with Foxy now consistently rushing our door around 40 seconds into the night. Foxy waits in the hallway for a full 25 seconds before rushing our door, so if we're dying at 40 seconds, I think it's pretty safe to assume that around 30 to 40 seconds, on most runs, Foxy should be in the hallway and we can glitch him out. As you can probably tell from the changes that I listed, this gameplay is already pretty tight, and we're going to have to find a completely new strategy to somehow get the same amount of time that we've had in previous nights of FNAF 4 with Fredbear. So here's what I came up with. Fredbear has a chance to move every 3 seconds, and on Night 5 has an AI value of 12, making his movement chance a little over half. Like Foxy, Fredbear's movements from corner to corner make directional sound cues, but unlike Foxy, him moving into the hallway does not. So the only ways that we can tell if Fredbear is in a hallway is either using the flashlight to check, or hearing him get cleared on a 3-second interval. We know that once Fredbear is in a hallway, he's going to patiently wait for 15 seconds to jump scare us, so we can use this to our advantage. Track Fredbear from hallway to hallway. Once you think he's in a hallway, flash the flashlight to confirm he's there. Now, instead of immediately clearing him, wait. Do a bit of mental math in your head to see what the furthest possible 3-second interval is that doesn't exceed Fredbear's kill timer. Then
What? This is an insane thing to keep track of.
use this time where Fredbear is essentially frozen in place to take care of whatever else needs to be done. Try and cut it as close as possible so that a 3-second interval hits the moment the door is shut. That way, you spend as little time as possible locked into FNAF 4 holding down a key. There are a few things that can throw a wrench in this strategy, like Fredbear moving into a hall corner, then repeatedly failing movements over and over again. Since his movement in the hallway is silent, it's really hard to know what he's doing here. If Fredbear is really camping you, make sure you run to the bed and back to the same door again, as there's a 25-second idle timer that will cause Fredbear to jump scare you if you don't move at all. The only other situation that we have to deal with is laughs and teleports, which can be very good for us or very bad for us. To start, let's go over how laughs work. For both the bed and the closet, there are two 30-second timers that randomly get incremented by 1 every second. Once one of these timers reaches 30, Fredbear has a 1 in 2 chance to laugh and teleport to that location. However, not every laugh is guaranteed to mean that Fredbear
Piece of follow
teleported. On
crest.
10-second intervals, Fredbear has a 1 in 10 chance to do a fake laugh, where he just laughs randomly but doesn't move to the bed or the closet. What's worse, this fake laugh timer pauses if Fredbear teleports to the bed, and unless you're staring at FNAF 4's timer specifically non-stop while dealing with 6 other games, you're not going to catch the exact second that Fredbear laughed. Personally, I just assumed that a laugh was real, but if I heard footsteps shortly following it, I knew it was fake instead. In the case that a laugh was real, check the bed first. If Fredbear is there, great. You now have 20 full seconds to do whatever you need to do with every other game. Then you can flash again to get rid of him. If Fredbear isn't on the bed, book it for the closet as fast as possible. You can maybe stall for 1 or 2 3-second intervals here, but only do so if you really need to, as you're already going to be pushing it with how long the running animations are in this game. With how much focus you have to put on Fredbear, this night felt like it was even more brain focused than night 4. A lot of times I found myself just going to the wrong door for Fredbear or misremembering what side he was at last, then losing track of him. I wasn't really making any progress, so I decided to just try and beat Night 5 on FNAF 2, 3, and 4, as those were the games that were going to be making up 75% of the gameplay anyway. With a little more optimizations in FNAF 2 and 4, I was able to beat these 3 at once, so I went back to official attempts. And this practice had worked. I was starting to get some pretty significant runs. Even though this challenge has been super rage-inducing with all the luck and memory involved, man, it is satisfying to pull off. You feel like the keyboard guy from that one regular show episode. Like, look at this clip.
Okay. He heating up. He heating up. He heating up.
I was getting to the point where I felt like I had enough skill to finally pull this off, so now it was just a matter of luck. I really needed this. I'd gotten some decent runs, but I was pretty much at the end of the line here. It was Sunday night, and the way that my finals week was laid out, I had no tests on Monday, then tests distributed throughout the rest of the week. I was stalling the studying for final exam kill timer as hard as I could.
Dude. Dude. There's an AI in 20 chance that Bones fails all of his finals tests due to this.
And I really needed Monday to prepare, so I grinded as hard as I could today, and eventually I was getting somewhere.
The noises, dude.
Please don't be fake. Yes.
I love that Bonnie's just chilling at the door right over here, by the way. Hey, hello.
Oh man, the pressure is on now. For the first time, I had gotten past the difficult part of Night 5, and I had barely made it through. Though I thought that Night 4 would be harder, I had already spent the same amount of time just getting through the first part of Night 5 as I did the entirety of Night 4. I didn't take any chances in FNAF 6, waiting to do advertising tasks until the animatronics grouped up on one side or were as far back as possible. I played so patiently that the night lasted a total of 10 minutes. But with FNAF 6 down, we move over to the laptop, and we have just one challenge left. Sister Locations Night 5. Night 5, while easier than Night 4, I think has the single hardest part of the entire game. The general plot of this night is fixing up Baby in parts and service, then following her instructions in Funtime Auditorium to avoid Ennard and go into the scooping room.
Okay, if he literally loses just playing Sister Location right now, though, that would be like... It's unimaginable, honestly.
Funtime Auditorium is fine both ways. Funtime Foxy or Ennard isn't even present the first time. And on the way back to the scooping room, all you have to do is follow Baby's instructions and you'll be okay. What's difficult about this night is the section with Baby, specifically the keypad.
3, 8, 6.
He's doing this with a $1 mouse!
Quite possibly one of the most nerve-wracking gameplay sections in all of FNAF. Of course, playing the keypad normally is already stressful enough, as dying means sitting through the entire beginning section of the night and running through Funtime Auditorium. But the keypad with the pressure of 7 minutes of perfect gameplay on top of 10 minutes of FNAF 6 icing you out, knowing full well that if you misclick at all, you're gonna have to spend the next day grinding this challenge again for some once-in-a-day RNG you just got.
And finals are, oh yeah, tomorrow.
I've spent all this time hyping up the keypad, but what actually makes it hard? Well, for one, this stupid f***ing cursor, but also how close together the numbers are on the keypad. Basically, Baby will say a number every 3 seconds or so. Once she says a number, you have roughly 2 seconds to click that number on the keypad. Click the wrong number or take too long to line up your press and you'll get jump scared by entered. I had done the keypad once in practice, and I thought that with the insane amount of mouse precision that I had built up over all these FNAF challenges, I would, without a doubt, first try the keypad. But man, as I got closer and closer to Baby's room, I don't think I had felt these kind of nerves in a long time. Vanilla FNAF games give you a special kind of thrill that you don't really get with fan games, at least not the ones that I play. For the past few really big FNAF challenges that I've done, they've been completely skill-based, albeit extremely challenging, but still, if you die, you know that nothing is stopping you from playing just as well in the next run and getting right back to where you were. But when you have to contend with game-ending RNG constantly, the pressure to execute increases tenfold. And even if I had built up so much nerve control from all of these challenges, it was still affecting me pretty bad, on top of the real-life deadline pressure that I had set for myself with finals week. Well, it was do or die. Here we are.
Do it, play the roll clip, let's do it.
Can you hear? There is a passcode that you must enter before you can retrieve me. Enter the code carefully. 1 6 8 1 6 3 4 7.
No! What? That's 7! That's 7! What? No! Oh my god, no! What? Oh my god, no! Oh my god, no! No! I'm not getting back there. I'm not getting back there, bro.
Okay, Bones, I know you're having a mental breakdown right now, but here's the good news. This is absolute cinema. So just remember that, okay? It'll be all right.
No, Zachary, no. Did I miss the button? I can't. There's no way.
He's rewatching the recording.
What? Darn it! There's no way that was last time. 53.
This is literally like a man losing himself to insanity, like locked in his room. It's like actually fucking weird to watch.
4 5. No, that's less than 3 seconds. I didn't hit anything wrong.
Like always, the curse continues. In all of my infinite wisdom, I only practiced this section one time, and I did it on my normal computer with my normal mouse on my normal mousepad. Now having to do it under 1,000 times more pressure with a dollar store mouse on a school computer with no mousepad, I ended up choking when Baby said the number 7, did a tiny bit of excess movement, and that was all it took. Game over. So, what's the plan now? Well, I went to bed and I could barely sleep.
Dude, going to bed on that is actually, like, so bad. That is actually so bad. I would not be able... I would have to at least give it a few more times before bed. I just could not. I could not go to bed on that.
Really worried about not beating this now. The moment that final started, there was no way I was gonna have time to keep playing this.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that the right decision is to play more. I'm just saying that, like, I would have to do a few more attempts. My body would not let me otherwise.
And I was afraid that if I spend 4 days away from this challenge, I'd lose all my consistency with memory and movement. So I made one last decision. I'm gonna preface this by saying, if you are in high school or college, do not do stuff like this. School should always be your #1 priority, but in my case, I got some deadlines to meet. On Monday, the last day to study before my first final, I made a decision. I was gonna flip a coin, and if it landed on heads, grind out this challenge for the entire day in hopes of getting one more run to the keypad.
Oh
Tails,
my God.
study for finals, and pick it back up next week. The anger from messing up the keypad had fueled me to the point where I was moving faster, tracking better, and staying alert. I wanted so badly to get back there. I knew at the very best, I was probably only gonna have a one shot past the first portion of the night, and soon enough, I had one more run that had some potential.
I mean, I low-key do kind of wish he had one of the moments where, like, he goes out on his motorcycle and, like, does an IRL moment. But other than that, this is just, like, such an absolute cinema ending. It's just, like, gosh, man. It's just actually so good. I mean, just nobody else does it like him. I mean, like, it's crazy because, like, you know, I feel like a lot of people, you know, I don't know, I guess you marvel at people for many different skills. Obviously, his is very clearly defined, and it's just, like, it's so close to, like, a level of insanity that it's genuinely incredible what he does. Like, it's just... Okay, yeah, he does that, man. I wouldn't even say he's necessarily cracked at things. He just really does have, like, unwavering determination in such a hard-headed way to where it's just, like, just almost no one else is like that. It's just, it's crazy. Like, it clearly is, like, a mental hang-up of sorts that he has. Like, to be so vanilla, so purist, to just, like, want to push himself to do these insane things. It's really crazy. But also, like, all humans are unique, so of course there's gonna be someone like him. But he's actually such a unique edge case. It's nuts. And also, I will say most people like this, almost all people that are like this, also do not have the ability to structure, script, and edit a video that is, like, easy to consume by the masses. He's a very, very rare type of person.
This is insane, bro.
Fluffy, that's pretty cute. What? This is the goat song, yeah. Dude, he's like overheating. Okay. Wow.
We officially have
20
one more
minutes?
Back again, and this time, I think the FNAF 6 animatronics knew what was up. I mentioned previously in my FNAF 6 Millionaire Challenge how important of a factor momentum is during any kind of challenge, and man, I really got iced here. The FNAF 6 animatronics were so aggressive that it took me 20 full minutes to get through my night, but I stayed resilient and patient. Anytime I had the urge to be aggressive with a task, I knew that spending an extra 10 to 15 minutes on this game would make up for the possible weeks lost by not completing this here and now. I realized after completing the night that it was actually played on Saturday and not Friday, as I had forgotten to reset my file from last run, so that's probably why. Now, there was only one more thing standing between me and my win. I had practiced the keypad way more now, and I had realized why I made the mistake that I did the first time. To quote Smash legend PPMD, when you're extremely nervous, the only thing that your body has to go off of is your muscle memory. If you hesitate to stop and think, you will lose. The most nervous
I love whenever he quotes Smash stuff because it's like, oh my gosh, so relatable. Oh my gosh, he's just like me. Oh my gosh, we be friends.
I had ever been attempting a challenge was beating Max Mode Members Edition from One Night at Frogger's twice in a row. And you'll see in that video, for the last half of the second run, I wasn't even thinking.
Shoutouts to Dr. PP, but dude, PPMD these days is such a bitch. Gosh, I wish he would just lock in, dude. He just has been clocked out for like 8 years. Not as in like he needs to like go to tournaments like all the time or some shit, or like even go to tournaments at all. He's just so complacent in like his lifestyle. It's just kind of sad to see. I'm obviously like making some pretty hard reads on this. I don't fucking know the guy personally, but like, I don't know. From an outsider's perspective, it's like, man, dude, I don't know. It just feels like he just should be living a more like fulfilling life. I don't know.
At all. It was purely trained reactions and muscle memory. And I was going to do the exact same thing here. This was it. It was as much as I could play until I had to go lock in for finals. I didn't take any chances. I moved my laptop up onto my desk and moved my alternate mouse onto my mouse pad. Now, all I had to do was input those 10 numbers.
Enter the code carefully.
Oh god.
1 4 4 2 6.
Oh, these are clean. These are super clean.
7 2 5 8. Good. The hatch should have opened. Now you must turn back.
Yeah, one day I'll play Super Smash Bros. Melee on stream too. I'm not as good at Melee. I have went to some like locals and competed in tournaments, but
Yes! Oh my god, it's over!
Counter-Strike is definitely my
God,
best
it's
game.
Yes, dude! Oh, shit, dude. Oh, you're so bad, dude. Oh my god. Holy shit, we did it. Holy shit, we did it. Oh my god, yes, dude.
I'm so glad this is done. This is without a doubt. We got HP and the rest of everything else.
I
This
can't
is one
believe
below
it, man.
This is that 1,000,000% harder than PMX2 Pixel. Okay, we're done. That is the most. See, fan games I don't get like this. I don't get like this when I'm
21 minutes and 34 seconds for a single night.
playing fan games, bro. I beat HGRV and I was like, cool. I beat PMX2 Pixel 4 and I was like, cool. I beat this shit. I'm shaking my heart. Is it, bro? Vanilla games do something to you that I'll never understand, bro. Oh my god. And there you have it. Every single FNAF game beaten at the exact same time. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please consider liking, commenting, subscribing, anything really. This video was one of the most intense grinds of my career with all of the external factors going on, so I'm sorry for the delay on this one. Expect some non-FNAF and also more FNAF.
By the way, classic Bones as well to always talk about how like the video takes so long and I'm stressed and sorry and it's such a grind. And by the way, it all makes sense. It's just funny. He always ends things the same way every time and always mentions certain things every time. His videos are very formulaic in a narrative sense, but like that's why you watch. So again, I'm not hating. It's just funny, man, dude. He always hits he always ticks all the boxes.
video soon. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about the True Gauntlet, which I've now renamed to the FNAC Pantheon. It's just been really hard to find the time to practice for it while maintaining a consistent upload schedule, as I've buffed it to be very, very hard. Once again, thank you all for watching this video. Remember to tune in for streams every Friday here on YouTube and on Twitch. Peace.
Damn, every Friday, is that the schedule? I have watched some Bone streams. I watched him play Poppy Playtime recently. But anyway, wow, we actually watched the whole thing. That was genuinely a really good video. Not surprised. I have genuinely enjoyed all of the Bones videos that I've watched. He is by far the FNAF content creator that I enjoy watching the most. Now, of course, this is more geared towards like the challenge run types of videos. Of course, like the full FNAF timeline video was like extremely engaging and amazing to watch. But yeah, in terms of this category, like bro has it nailed. He's so good. So yeah, damn, we did it. I know Hopeless Pursuit is still a video that's the second most requested video that people have for me outside of this one is Hopeless Pursuit reaction. So I do still want to do that at some point. It's like 2.5 hours long, so I'll probably have to do like multiple dedicated days, like recording my reaction to that. At some point, I'm going to Japan soon, so I don't think I'll be able to tackle that until after, but you know, you never know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that was great. So, you know, thanks for watching, guys. It was such a fun journey to go on.